from the Atlantic today. Although they gate-kept it. I really hate corporate media. Um, like Kurt Cobain said, corporate magazines suck. And, as much as I can't stand these grifting, greedy, lame stream media, as the dodos call it, it's all owned by 6 corporations. They control 90% of what you see, hear, and read. As much as I hate the media, there's a good article in the Atlantic today. Though, I didn't get to read the whole thing because it was behind a paywall. Media CEOs, you make enough. Pay your reporters better. Pay the guy on the beat street. Pay your people better. And stop being so greedy. You got a sickness. The sickness is greed. Because you had banner ads. I had to watch ads on this page. Ads were popping up. Ads were all over this page. Yet still, you kept this article locked from the people. And Jeff Bezos, I believe his magazine, newspaper, whatever, that doesn't have an opinion piece. You can't talk bad about billionaires. But Jeff Bezos' magazine, newspaper says, democracy dies in darkness. And as far as I'm concerned, buddy, you people over at the Atlantic are killing off democracy because you keep gatekeeping these articles. Why do you have banner ads? Why do you have pop-up ads? Why do you have ads? Why do you have ads? Why do you have ads if you need me to pay to read this article? You greedy, Chernobyl-esque dungle foops. That's a pretty bad word. That's a pretty bad word I just called you. What are you going to do with it? You dungle foop. But I read as much free parts of these articles that I'm going to show you. This one, and where's the other one? Where's the other one? Or maybe did I not take a picture of it? Anyways. But we're going to talk about how the Donald Trump, maybe it's Maybelline, maybe it's the president. I don't know. He wears that apricot rouge all the time. If you haven't seen him, did I really not take a picture of it? Oh, I did. This one. Dude looks rough. And if you've heard him talk lately, it's like listening to somebody's grandpa try to fart the alphabet. It's brutal. You don't want to listen to it. But The Atlantic did this article, The Missing President. Trump has been busy with everything but the government shutdown. In the 29 days that the government has been something, Donald Trump has not traveled to Capitol Hill, has not started to negotiate, not brought congressional leaders to the White House to broker a deal, given a speech to the American public about the crisis. But he's done a lot else in October. He traveled out of the country twice, which is typically not what the president does during a shutdown. Shutdowns, the president usually doesn't leave the country because the president is the leader of the country and wants the government to open up. So usually he tries to broker some kind of deal. The old fart of the deal, Donald Dump, Mr. Jeffrey Epstein's best friend. You figure he could have cut a deal. But that whole thing was a charade. Is that what they call it? A charade. Because he didn't even write The Art of the Deal. You dummies that thought he wrote that book, that guy could probably hardly spell his own name. But he definitely didn't write that book. He had a ghostwriter. And he needs to be visited by 3 ghosts. Goes to Christmas present, goes to Christmas past, and goes to Christmas future. That's what he needs. That's what all these billionaires need. But instead of trying to, do the art of the deal, he left the country. In fact, one of the articles today that I didn't link down below because I don't think anyone needs to hear this. You can look it up if you want. Daily Beast, Trump acts, Indian accent. I listened to it, and it's just this. He's so old. I can't believe this dude's in charge of the country, and he's Jeffrey Epstein's best friend. He's so old, and he's doesn't care about Americans. The system is rigged against you, folks, and you elected the guy who is happy to help rig it worse. But he has demolished the East Wing. He's asked to prosecute his political enemies, demanded a $200 and something million payment to himself from the Justice Department, and authorized numerous strikes against alleged drug boats. Again, their whole evidence is trust me, bro. Trump has also posted AI-generated photos of himself, never with his own body. He needs a gender-affirming body. Using a fighter jet to drop poop on protesters. And just, he's done a bunch of different stuff. And then I kept trying to read it, but then of course, the Atlantic CEO doesn't make enough money, so they got to paywall you. Media companies. We can look up how much your CEOs make, okay? You can give us these articles for free. It's good that people read your stuff. And here's the thing, guys. You're making money, okay? You corporate executives are making a shit ton of money. You don't have to worry about SNAP. You don't have to worry about rent. You don't have to worry about price of egg. Stop paywalling your articles, you nincompoops, you nimrods, you Chuck Bakers, you absolute deplorable caca heads, you Johnny Ramsbottom. Stop paywalling your articles. It's good for the American people to read, for those of us left who can read. Stop paywalling your articles. We see the pop-up ads, the ads displayed before, the ads you gotta scroll by, the ads, the side ads, the bottom ads, the banner ads. We see all the ads. Why are you paywalling? You're making money because I'm clicking on your site. That's how the internet works, you ding-dings. Jesus. Shut up. Get out of here. Get the out of my chat. Go. Leave. You dummy. All you Trump norrods, and that's a horrible word. I hope you don't even know what it means. All the people who support this dude, and this picture was taken in the 90s, I believe, and he's with Epstein. Look at how much fun they're having, those pedo pans. Just get the out of here, okay? We understand. This is, you assume the position for Donald Trump. I'll say this early. You assume this position for Donald Trump, and you're texting in the chat from down here, but I don't want to hear it. I would like to talk to the people who say nurses paying 22%, Jeff Bezos paying 1%, and trillion-dollar companies paying 1% in taxes is the problem. To you, I say subscribe, hit the notification bell. We got a lot of work to do. We're going to be taxing wealth, not work. You follow along? But for all the pedo pan supporters that are taking this position, assuming the position so hard that they made a statue for you, because you guys support Donald Trump's best friend, Jeffrey Epstein's best friend, Donald Trump, you could shut the f up. We done with you. We done with you. You understand? Now, back to the missing president. Donald Trump doesn't care about you so much that while kids are getting ready to go hungry, because again, in America, 1 in 5 children are food insecure. That is a very American term. They had to create that so kids starving didn't shock people. They called it food insecure. Ooh, I'm insecure about food because I have none to eat. And while all these maggots say stuff like just work harder, you don't understand that these corporations that are paying nothing in taxes, legalizing corruption, buying politicians, are also wasting so much food. They're wasting so much food because they couldn't profit off it to get a bigger yacht. You're the issue. And anybody getting in the way of us, the people, taxing that wealth, you're the issue. The system is rigged against Americans, and if you haven't seen it by now, then you're not paying attention. And I would ask you to get out of the position, the assumed position for Donald Trump. Maybe it's Maybelline, maybe it's the president. But Donald Trump is missing from trying to reopen the government. We talked yesterday about how he wandered off in Japan, and still, I think that would be a great album title. Wandering off in Japan, or wandered off in Japan. I think that's a great album title. I don't care what you say. That some band out there, name your next album, wandered off in Japan. But this talks about all the stuff that he's been doing, besides trying to open the government. He also could have authorized, where is it? He could have authorized, I think it was $6 billion, but if Bernie says 5. But there is billions of dollars Congress has set aside for in case the government shuts down to continue to assist with SNAP and the Department of Agriculture, which is where SNAP payments come from, so hungry people don't starve, especially now that it's getting close to winter and times have been tough anyways. Last year I heard a lot of people saying, I'm gonna vote on price of egg like a fucking dodo, like a goddamn idiot. But they did, and now we're here. And if you really want egg price to go down, you know what? We tax billionaires at 100%. That's what we do. If you want egg price to go down, folks, here's your solution. We empower the people. We rip the soul out of corporations, because right now the government determined that they have personhood. And I say, nah. I don't think corporations have a soul, but apparently our government does. So they gave them citizenship. They gave them personhood, and we got to rip that away from them. But we're also going to tax billionaires out of existence. That means once they get to $999 million, every penny over that, and there's more nines in there, but every cent over that is taxed at 100%. So we have no more of the Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk's buying and selling elections. No more of Mark Zuckerberg buying up all the land in Kauai away from the locals who that was their ancestral home and they had the rights to it. But he used sneaky different court tactics where he would steal the land from under their feet. And we don't have these kind of robber barons like we do in the year of our Lord 2025. So that's how we're going to fix all this shit. And we're going to. Habitual. I don't know if you're stupid or if you just don't understand that billionaires are bad. Right now, the government is run all by Republicans. Okay? The country has gotten a whole shitload worse. So much so that kids are going to start starving soon here in America. So I don't give a fuck if they donate to Republicans or Democrats. Maybe you're so blinded by thinking I wear a red hat and I just got to focus on blue hat, but take the fucking hats off, folks. None of the politicians. So when I said the billionaires pay for the politicians and legalize corruption and anti-bribery laws are just being eradicated as we speak, I mean all of the politicians. Is that a little shocking for MAGA, who can't think farther than blue, red, good, bad, evil, good? That's why Donald Trump plays to you, stupids. That's what he does. He goes, we got to get those guys over there. And you go, maybe it's Maybelline, maybe it's the president. You're right, I'm so scared of the others. That you don't understand they're all bought and paid for. Okay? Just like the corporations in this country. You have the illusion of choice here in America. Your cereal aisle is filled with different kinds of Cookie Crisp, but they're all owned by fucking one company, all right? You understand me, folks? Just like the media. 6 corporations control what you see, hear, and fucking read. 90% of what you're... and then some of you think like, oh, Tim Pool is the outlier. I hate to break it to you, unless you want, what is it, Russia Today, RT? Unless you want the same news that you get in an RT, Tim Pool was paid by the Russians. Ben Shapiro, paid by fracking fucking magnates. This guy right here, paid by nobody. And I say, fuck these billionaires. We're going to tax you into existence. Want to leave America? Go ahead. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Hold on, hey now. Hold on, hey now. That's a good name, by the way. Hey now. I like that name. Hit subscribe. Hit the notification bell. So, hey, somebody called you George Carlin. Oh, I can't hold a... I appreciate if you were calling me George Carlin, but please don't. I can't. George Carlin was a philosopher, a prophet, a comedy legend, especially in the day and age of Polio Rogan, who claims to be a comic, who owns a comedy club but steals his jokes from Brendan Schwab. I can't hold a candle to George Carlin. But I was raised on George Carlin. Let me tell you, my mother would not have let me graduate high school. Nah, she wanted me to graduate real bad. But she bought me books, made me listen to George Carlin, jamming in New York. We out on VHS. So I was raised, and I now return the favor to my children before they graduate high school. They have to hear certain George Carlin bits, but or I pull their diploma. I call the school and say they didn't listen to the whole discography of George Carlin. That kid ain't graduating yet. They're going to summer school. And I do it as a favor. You ask my oldest daughter, and she'll tell you she absolutely loves George Carlin's bits on graveyards and abolishing golf courses. So it's good for kids to understand, but please, I'm not George Carlin. I promote his stuff, and I am in awe of what he did. And somebody said George Carlin is lame as a duck. You might be one of the stupidest people I've ever fucking met. And I haven't even met you, but crybaby cousin, besides being just a troll, no one in the history of fucking Earth has said George Carlin was lame. One of the most revered comics of all time. It's just so funny how some people just, they're so in the MAGA cult that they're like, yeah, George Carlin, what a lame duck. Well-known lame duck. Neil Sandys, fun fact, the hashtag MAGA morons has been trending. Oh, really? I gotta start using it then. Shout out to the Vibe Coach. Hey, what's up, Crush? Good to see you. Good to see you. Who else was here? Hold on. Alma's here. What's up, Alma? Hey Now, who pointed out the George Carlin cousin. This crybaby cousin, dude. You can't say George Carlin was lame and think Norm Macdonald's can. Man, listen, I try to love everybody. I really do, except for the billionaires. Fuck all them. But other than that, the people that don't oppress other people. Hold on. To understand my mindset, we have to go back to Frederick Douglass, okay? Back in the 1850s, we were on the cusp of civil war. My cousin John Brown was trying to instigate that civil war by rewriting the Constitution, by freeing slaves, the enslaved people, working with Harriet Tubman, and really trying to hold America to the ideals she had promised every citizen, even enslaved ones. And Frederick Douglass, one of the great minds of the time, said, I therefore hate the corrupt, slave-holding, women-whipping, cradle-plundering, partial and hypocritical Christianity of this land. I look upon it as the climax of all misnomers, the boldest of all frauds, and the grossest of all libels. Frederick Douglass. So to understand, what did I have up before there? To understand where I come from, you have to understand that. Because I look at a lot of the hypocrisy that we see right now, especially with MAGA, especially the fucking MAGA that has the bumper sticker that says, take our country back. Because every time I see it, I go, from who, you idiots? What do you think? There's fucking poor immigrants running all the corporations that are laying people off right now? What do you think? Poor immigrants are the ones running the country that caused the government to shut down? What do you think? Poor people and immigrants are not releasing the Epstein files? Take our country back from who? The corporations and executives. That's who's always owned the country. Go back to the golden age of the first robber barons when Donald Trump said, we're going to have another gilded age. You fucking idiots didn't learn in school that the gilded age was not good for regular people. You thought you were in the big club George Carlin talked about, not understanding that the poorly educated are fucking loved by Donald Trump because he can say some shit and you go, sounds good. Gilded, I don't even know what that means. Oh, Christ. Oh my God. The communist and the socialist have never had this country. Shows how much you know, you fucking idiot. Again, guys, you need to comprehend something. I know. I got to talk to the entitled white guys that are very insecure. I got to talk to you for a second. I know you're always in permanent victimhood and you're always scared of the others. Oh my God, if my neighbor does as good as me, what does that day for me? Well, hold on. Let me pull something up. I got to pull something up. Something you need to understand about MAGA. Here's the truth. Trump supporters don't measure his success by what he does for them. He measures it by what he does against people they don't like. That's why they see him as being successful. This is why they will never abandon him. His tormenting of the others sustains them. So I need you to understand something when you open your mouth and you say something absolutely fucking moronic, like we're going to take it back from the socialists. What, the FDR socialism where we implemented a minimum wage and Social Security and a New Deal where it put most of the country back to the work and got us out of the Great Depression and gave the baby boomers their prosperity, which was again taken away by all the billionaires and the Reaganites and the fucking absolute oppressive new robber baron class. When you say these stupid things, like we're going to take it back from who? The poor people? Oh, yes, the poor people are definitely in control of the country right now. You know, you don't even say things that on its face make sense. The poor immigrants? They're the ones that have shut the government down and denied SNAP to all the hungry Americans. The immigrants, they're the ones sending ICE out to, hold on, let's get to the next story. They're the ones sending ICE out to break Americans' ribs. A 67-year-old American guy. It's those illegal immigrants that are sending Border Patrol goons to hurt Americans. You understand that you're fragile, entitled, person of victimhood that you always claim to be is just in the way of us actually having some prosperity? And you do it all in support of this guy who's best. Maybe it's Maybelline, maybe it's the president, or better known as Pedo Pan, best friends with Epstein. When he's allowing these billionaires, the new robber baron class, to pay no taxes while we're paying more and more taxes, while their companies are getting to be in the Panama Papers and not pay taxes at all. While I say tax wealth and not work, and you go, we're going to take it back from those socialists. If you want to give up your socialism, then fucking call the military, call the police department, call the fire department, say, if anything goes wrong with my house, you leave me the fuck alone. I don't like socialism. And then you get rid of your minimum wage, okay? And then you also get rid of your weekends. You get rid of any kind of benefits that you fucking had, because you morons that are scared of socialism, because it's a word Donald Trump said, are just stupid, okay? Socialism, social power, uniting in unions is the greatest weapon we have against these fucking titans of industry who go on billion-dollar yachts to rent out Venice to get married for a second time, because when they got divorced the first time, they made the bitch richer than everybody else in the world just by divorcing her. You people are ruining this country. You're the one we need to take it back from. And don't forget, Donald Trump is all over the Epstein files. All fucking over them. We should write songs about it. I feel like if we were in Westeros and this was back in the 00s and you were playing the crystal flute and the fife, we'd be writing songs about, the Pito, he went to that island. We'd be writing songs about the creepiness of this man so nobody would forget. And we would never forget not putting, maybe it's Maybelline, maybe it's fucking Pedo Pan, maggots. Yes, I do. Oh, hold on. Sorry, I'm not. Hold on. Who's that? Jason Minton. Mint. Yo, we used to say mint back in the 90s, Jason. I don't know if you know that. We call shit mint. But yeah, I call them maggots. M-A-G-A-T-S. Just like if you're from Boston, you're a Bostonian. If you're from Massachusetts, you're a masshole. If you're in MAGA, you're a maggot. That's what I call them. So just never forget, guys. Never forget. He won't release the files because he's all over them. But did you guys see this story? It's down in the comments. I mean, down in the description. Is that what it's called? I don't know. Trump Border Patrol goons allegedly break ribs of a U.S. man, an American, who's 67. Here's a little thing you can read, but I want to show you the pictures. Look at these fucking goons, man. On top of that dude, he did nothing. They dragged him out the car. And look at him, gray hair. You can watch the video down below. Masshole here. All right, Masshole. Good to see you. Mount up. Wait. The weights experience. I want to take a minute. Hold on. Let me put this back on. Now, remember what I said. Trump supporters don't measure his success by what he does. They measure it by what he does against people that they don't like. The weights experience said, your food stamps are over, son. Now, I've been on food stamps. I know a lot of people have been on food stamps. The weights experience. I want to give you a minute to try to explain why you have diarrhea for a soul. Why your soul consists of diarrhea. How, in God's green earth, do you think it's cool to say your food stamps are over, son, to children who are going to go hungry? I'm guessing he ain't gonna answer. And then there are some people that are they're just trolls, and that's fine. But I hear this often, you know, these people that troll with food stamps. You understand, like, you're not gonna offend me saying that, but I do think much less of you, to all the people who are barking about food stamps, because there are children that I know that get a hot meal from food stamps, and the fact that you would gloat over kids going hungry says fucking volumes about you. And let me just say this too. You better pray that you never find yourself in that situation, as a parent or just as a human. I hope you reevaluate your life. Because as an American, every American should support Americans not starving. That's like, you know, one easy thing you could get behind and not be an absolute douchebag. But it's too hard for some of these, I'm just going to say, white, old, or young. They're either Charlie Kirk fans or they're Donald Trump fans. They're usually typically white dudes that are entitled, you know, that lived at their parents' house until they could afford to buy a house. And they're so privileged, they don't even understand what privilege is, you know. And they're usually just absolute shitbags of a human. That's why they like Donald Trump, because, you know, no girl's going to touch their pee-pee, so they got to find their ways to, you know, get aroused in life one way or another. But you absolute garbage souls. Anybody that would gloat or cheer on food stamps being cut off. When we have Congress allotted, just so everybody understands, Congress allotted $5-6 billion for, if the government ever shut down, that food stamps would not be affected. That money is put to the side for food stamps, for the Department of Agriculture. And the ripple effect is so much bigger, which these people don't know. And a lot of these people that might be in Trump voting towns probably are going to find out the hard way. It's what the kids call FAFO. But there's money allotted. It's just cruelty. The cruelty is the point. They want people to suffer. And again, that's your Republican elected, unfairly elected. Was it a fair election? I don't think so. Not my president. Remember when you bitches were saying that 4 years ago, 5 years ago? Not my president. I still think it's the funniest shit in the world. That grown-ass men in America couldn't just say, fuck Joe Biden. They had to say, let's go Brandon. Oh, God. But this is not fake news. The president is out of the country, which is it's unheard of for when there's a shutdown. He's abandoned it. You could read the article down below. And they don't need to open up the government to release this money. They could just keep funding it with the congressional approved money for SNAP. But again, dummy's gonna dumb. So I can't help stupid, I can't. I could lead a horse to water, but if it's gonna read, I don't know. Maybe it can't read, This is a good article you should read down below. Donald Trump is in Asia on tour doing Indian accents, which this dude, I can't believe, it's so befuddling to me. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell if you agree with this. That there are people in this country that think they're pretty smart, clever, and they're like, I'm not voting for Joe Biden. They said, I'm not voting for Joe Biden because he's old. Yeah. The signs of youth, that you have to take a dementia test and call it an IQ exam. Holy shit. This dude. But also his goons are harming Americans. And I would think one elderly American man getting his ribs broken and the country would be like, bro, that's an American, like, back the fuck up. But a lot of you are such traitorous, treasonous little shites, as they call you in the UK, that you don't even care. Look at this dude. The guy's a silver fox, and he's getting his ribs broken by Border Patrol. All because you worship, maybe it's Maybelline, maybe it's the president. But, guys, the rest of us, not maggot traitors, not the people who sold out our country to swear an allegiance to the billionaire class, the ones who have taken a fealty oath to maybe it's Maybelline, maybe it's Pedo Pan, the ones who think you take your country back from poor people. Yeah, because poor people are the ones making the decisions to starve themselves. Like, They like, none of the stuff makes sense, but again, it's not hard to trick a dummy. You ever try to trick, a dummy? And I'm not saying babies are dumb, but like MAGA's like on that intelligence level as a baby. Like you jingle some keys and they're like, holy shit, what is this, magic? You're like, peekaboo. And they're like, where did he go? And that's what Trump does with these dummies. But for the rest of us, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. We're starting a community, a coalition. We're building it out. People from all across the world, too. Listen, this isn't just Workers of the World Unite in America. This isn't standing up for just Americans, but when one right is eroded, everybody's rights are eroded. When they take the woman's right to choose what she does with her own body away, that is eroding your rights. And I don't care what you identify as, and I don't care if you're a man. Everybody should be, feminism is for everybody. And they should not be even tinkering with this shit. And here's all this other stuff. We could pay for universal health care just by taxing the billionaires. We wouldn't even have to deal with it. We could still let our taxes go to fund Ukraine and Israel and Argentina and all the, subsidies that Elon Musk needs. We could even still fund that. As long as we tax billionaires, we could have universal health care. But instead, you're about to see healthcare subsidies disappear and the premiums are going to jump up over 100%. That means they're going to double. Oof. For the guy who said they would move their money elsewhere, idiot, they won't. What, they going to put it in Russia? They're going to go to China? Really? Because I don't know if you know, most other countries have universal health care. They tax their corporations. That's why they come to America. What are they going to take it to Mexico or Canada? Give me a break. I'm done with these small-minded people coming up with excuses for the billionaires so the billionaires don't have to do it. I say this, if you can't afford your lifestyle on $999 million, maybe you're living outside of your means. And for all you little plebes who wake up in the morning and go to work all day and think of different ways to defend the billionaires, shut your fucking mouths. Go in the corner and be obedient. You understand me? Go be obedient for your little masters. And if they ever decide to visit your store, whenever they want to send an email, you say, "Yes, sir, and I hope you had fun on the yacht, sir, and I'm doing okay with my earned sick time. I'm using my vacation time, sir. Don't you worry, sir. I'll keep defending you, sir." Just shut up and go be obedient. This ain't the live stream for you. Go to Tim Pool's thing. Jim loves Canada. I agree 100%. Well, Jim, I love Canada too. I was not allowed there for quite a few years because I got in a little legal trouble. But God bless Canada. God bless the USA. That's why we're fixing this shit. Because you know what the most American thing to do is? Pop quiz, dummies. You know what the American... I love dummies, by the way, because if any of you watch 30 Rock, Liz Lemon... Tina Fey's character in 30 Rock called everybody dummies. So every time I say dummies, I think of Liz Lemon in 30 Rock. But the most the most American thing to do is, anybody know? Anybody know? Anybody know? Anybody know? Anybody know? Shout out to the real ones in the chat. That's right, Crush. Anybody know? It's also the First Amendment. It's first in the Bill of Rights. You know what the most American thing to do is? Eat bacon. Very close. I think that's the Second Amendment. Eat bacon. It's to dissent against your government. It's to criticize. It's free speech. Free speech isn't for the things that you like. Okay? Free speech is to say, fuck Donald Trump and not have to hide it. Say, let's go Brandon. Okay? Free speech is saying, fuck that old pedo pan motherfucker who doesn't care if kids starve. That entitled rich little brat needs to get his ass back in this country and get to cutting a deal. That's the most American thing you can do. I'm glad you learned something today. I'm glad you learned something today. That's why we have a Bill of Rights. You dummies. It's the whole reason. Because when we had a king, for those of you who don't read, you couldn't speak out against the king. He'd have your head. And they didn't want to do it like that. They didn't want somebody above the law. They said we should be able to have address our grievances with the government. That's why freedom to protest, free speech is so important. They put it first. But that's okay. You know, a lot of you don't get to learn shit anymore because, I don't know, did they get rid of the school system yet? That's what Donald Trump wants to do. He wants everybody to just go back to work in the mines. You know, that's why he's like, we're going to start the coal mines again. We'll have kids ripping camels with no filters going back to the coal mines. And a lot of you dummies in the Midwest were like, yeah, open the coal mines. Let's send the children. And there was even some of your politicians like, I worked in the fields to afford my school lunch. It's like, no, you didn't. Shut up, rich kid. Oh, man. These people, you MAGA, hold on. Let me show MAGA the position. This is the position they take. They had to enshrine your position, MAGA. And you take it for this dude. It's incredible. It's really remarkable what MAGA will allow. You know, this is a United States man. And Border Patrol in a raid, in an immigration raid, because again, I don't understand how getting rid of immigrants will make CEOs not lay you off or pay you better. But I guess like MAGA's so stupid they have to try, you know? And Donald Trump's like, we know this ain't gonna fix it. I could just implement a higher minimum wage and people will be able to afford egg. But yeah, it's okay. It's like so stupid on its fucking head. But again, like MAGA will allow this shit, and I believe the number is up to 170 or 170 plus Americans that have been disappeared off the streets with no due process. Another very American thing. Was American. In the history books, they'll write about how we once had due process, and it wasn't until the United States of Tesla and the southern cone of Amazon. You guys are going to defend the billionaires until they just own regions of the country. And you're all going to have chips, you know, you're all going to have chips in your head. It says when you're allowed to go home. And you're cheering it on. You guys are scared of Bill Gates. But when Elon Musk says it, you're like, yes, sir. I'd love to work a 19-hour day for you. Have no weekends. And then you're like, unions are terrifying. Socialism's scary. Like, do you enjoy Friday nights? Do you enjoy your weekends, you dummies? You do like having that military to use our tax dollars to bomb foreign countries? Because that's socialism, folks. I hate to break it to you. Military socialism. Oh my God. Oh, these people. I really believe in education because it's tiring talking to dummies. You know, it's exhausting. It's really, it takes a lot out of you. Especially dummies that support this guy. That were like, here, I just want to explain the epitome of what's exhausting to me. He's not going to release the Epstein files, but all through the campaign, he went on Fox News, said, I'm going to release the Epstein files. You guys all MAGA cheered, like, oh, we're going to get the Epstein files, Bill Clinton, da-da-da. You know, like you guys we're doing it like the Macarena in 1999 at a wedding. You know, it was the hits, man. You were playing the hits everywhere. And what you didn't realize, like this picture didn't happen in 2025. Like what you didn't realize when you were like, he's going to release the Epstein files. He's going to put Dan Vagina and Cash App Patel in the FBI. And their whole podcast is about releasing the Epstein files. I'm just explaining for those who aren't paying attention, why it's exhausting speaking to stupid people. Because all last year you had to hear about the Epstein files, Dan Vagina, Dan Oingo Boingo, however you pronounce it, and Cash App, that's his real name, Patel. It's funny that racists are like cool with this. It's so weird, racism today, because they even let Enrique Tarrio lead the Proud Boys. It should be a musical group. But all these people all last year, just on and on about the Epstein files. And most of us are like, we really think his best friend's going to release them files? Most of us were like, it's not happening. They were like, it's going to happen day one. I think Glenn Beck said day one or like within 10 days. You know, Glenn Beck, another absolute grifter shithole human being. Oh my God. Some of these people, they will, oh my, I just don't understand what some of these grifters, like, what's their long-term game? They just hope these people like have kids that can work and pay, you know, for their alpha brain pills or support their, you know, lifestyle. Because at some point when the consumers have no money to spend, these people will have no money. I mean, I guess that's the long game. But anyways, MAGA, you know, was diehard, ride or die Epstein files. You know, he's going to release them. He's going to release them. And he hasn't. You know, it's almost November. He hasn't. But he's also, you know, a huge part of those files. And they like, it still falls on deaf ears. Like they still don't comprehend. Like, oh, no. We have this picture because they were like neighbors and best friends. You understand what that means? You ever been best friends with someone and had nothing in common? I don't want to break your brain, but a lot of these people are dumb, man. A lot of them. And it's sad. But what are you going to do? Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. We're going to tax billionaires out of existence, tax megachurch. We're going to cap congressional salaries. We're going to ban stock trading. We're going to get universal health care, outlaw gerrymandering. We're going to take this country back from the robber barons, the billionaires, the Nepo babies like Donnie, maybe it's Maybelline, maybe it's Peter Pan. We're going to. Trevor, 199, thank you for the super chat. Haha, Biden looked and sounded rough. Yeah, Biden was old as shit. That's why I didn't vote for another 79-year-old. 100%. That's why... That's why I didn't vote for another guy as old as Biden who's wandering off in Japan. I agree with you. I 100% agree. In fact, if you stay long enough, hit subscribe and notification bell, you'll understand that I say 55 should be the cutoff age for presidents. They have a cutoff young age, just like they have a minimum wage, but we have no maximum wage. How does that make sense? You have to be 35 to run for president, but you can be 80? The guy took a dementia test. The guy took a fucking dementia test, okay? I'm going to show you the dementia test. He called it an IQ test. He said it's an IQ test, and he said it was very hard, which is so sad, you know? This is so sad. He had to identify animals. He said it was very hard. Guys, abandon these grifters, and let's take our country back. We can do it together. Hit subscribe, hit notification bell. And for those who are still defending Peter Pan, let me just leave you with this. There are two types of Trump supporters, billionaires and idiots. I want you to go check your bank account and see which one you are. Alma, thank you for the hard work today. I appreciate you. I understand. To everybody else, much love to you. Be kind. If you can help in any way, do it. 1 in 5 kids go hungry in America. And Donald Trump is about to make that worse. He could using the congressionally approved $5 billion, $6 billion in reserves to keep funding SNAP, so kids don't starve, so Americans don't starve. Call your congressperson, write them. I write mine a lot, and let them know. Make some noise. Get fucking loud. We ain't staying quiet, man. Because even though I'm not going hungry right now, it bothers me to no end that there are Americans who are worried about feeding their kids, and it should worry you, because we're in this together. The billionaires, they don't even understand what the price of egg is. They don't give a shit. You think Donald Trump doesn't even know where he is. You know, he thinks he's on Epstein Island wandering around in Japan. But this is horrific, man. So look out for each other. You know, it's gonna take all of us, except for you, MAGA. Fuck you, MAGA. 2 people support Trump, billionaires and idiots. Go check your bank account and get back to me, or don't. I don't give a shit. But for the rest of us, it's going to take all of us to let these corrupt Republicans, corrupt Democrats to know we've had it. We've had it. No more trading stocks. We're going to have congressional caps. We're going to have a wealth cap to be able to run for politics. You can't be over 55. We're changing all the rules, because when institutions fail, you don't reform them, you replace them. So get creative, folks. Get them creative things thinking, and how do we get ourselves to the next plateau? How do we get, just like when the founding fathers said, well, what do? We have no king. We won the war. What do we need to create to push this country in the direction we want? We are in that moment again, and we need brilliant minds to think outside the box. I always say, look to other countries. What is Sweden? They're all, the Scandinavian countries are always the happiest countries in the world in that article that comes out every year. Well, what do they have? A good welfare state. How do they do it? What are the problems? What could we improve on? Let's do all of this stuff and more. So when people say, oh, it's the richest country in the world, for who? For who? Last election, people worried about the price of egg. And I call it one egg, because I'm sure somewhere in New York, they were selling loosies, They were like, I got a loose egg, just like when people used to sell loose cigarettes, man. Oh, Christ. So we need you, if you specialize in something, if you think about something, if you got a good idea, if you never heard before idea, no idea is bad, except for you, MAGA. Shut the fuck up. Go in the corner and be obedient. That's all you're good at. You're just good at being obedient. But for everybody else who wants to push this country in a way where kids don't go hungry, where we have 25 or 26 empty homes for every homeless person, if you can figure out a solution to that problem, whoo, man, sounds like the answer's right there. But we can do it, and we're gonna do it. We had to. That's the thing about what this regime is doing. They're exposing a lot of this to people who didn't really see it or maybe weren't as in tune with it. But there is no hiding it now. There is no hiding how corrupt this system is, that none of these politicians work for us, and that they are laughing all the way to the bank while they build ballrooms and Americans starve. Okay? So that's going to wake a lot of people up. And to those people, I say, welcome. We're going to make a better tomorrow. And it starts today. All right, guys, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. Much love. Be kind to each other. Big lottery payouts are a joke. Todd, you know what's funny about that, Todd? I'll address that real quick. I forget who I was listening to. They were talking about how the banks hold the money for the lottery, and that the rates, because it has gotten so abysmal in America, that the rates for the lottery payouts have even dropped. So if you look at the lottery payouts, it used to be, the cash value is this, and then like 3/4 of the cash, if you took the lump sum, it was like 3/4. Now it's almost less than half. But that's another fascinating feature. Toxic Audrey. Rule of law and order is framing yourself as the law abiders. If fascism is law, resistance is duty. 100%. Well, I mean, I always say the party of law and order elected a felon, really, that are breaking laws every single day, due process, Constitution. Even Donald Trump was like, I don't even know if I need to uphold the Constitution. It's like, it's in the oath you took twice, you fucking moron. Boycott fascism. Move your money away from the oligarchs and invest in your community and the people in your life. Love it, love it, love it. Yeah, we got some good people in the community. I do love this community. Government is meant to support the citizens, 100%. There's no other reason we formed a government than to create welfare for our communities. There is no other fucking reason. We didn't create another government to be a tyrannical kingdom that oppresses us, that takes our taxes to oppress us. We fund the government, people. So it's the government of the people, by the people. That's right. I love it. 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 So keep it coming and hit subscribe, because I'm here every single weekday. All right. Much respect. Deport MAGA. Yeah, let's deport them all to Epstein Island. I think they'd like that, They all love them anyways, so why don't send them all to Epstein Island? All right, guys. Peace.